Hey there folks, Koji here again, and today I've got a guide for you for the Bloodletting Beast. Now this boss can be found in the Lower Pthumeru Dungeon, and he is the final boss. And like his name, he's a beast. But despite his terrifying size and shape and reach, he can be killed, so don't worry guys. You just have to make sure you're leveled to the point where you can take him on, you have enough health, and your weapon is at least +6. Now it doesn't really matter what type of weapon you have. Something with some range I think would help, definitely. Like, I love the greatsword for that example, or the hammer, or anything that is the equivalent, like one of those spears. Hell, even the first weapon you get would probably do pretty well against this guy, because it's all about dodging his attacks. He'll attack to the left and the right with his long swipes, or his finger dodge right there, that zoom, I don't know what you call it, but you have to dodge at just the right moment, or that will do insane damage to you, and if you aren't tanky enough, it will very likely one-shot you. That all said, that's pretty much his strongest attack within his arsenal. He won't throw too many other curveballs at you, aside from that long-range stabbing motion with his hand. So you dodge that, and you've dodged a lot of the things he can kill you with. Now he can knock pillars down, as you just saw, so keep that in mind if you want to play the long-range game and not dodge to his side when he attacks. But that's the best thing to do though, guys. Get close to him, wait for him to wind up one of his swipes, or his stab even, and then dodge either to the right or to the left, whichever you feel you're more comfortable with, or hell, even through his legs, like right there, and then just keep attacking his thighs. Now he will try to stomp you occasionally when you do this, or he'll jump backwards, so just try to stay out of his way, or if you can time it right, hit the dodge button right when he's about to land, and you won't take any damage. The Bloodletting Beast's overall health, I would say, is less than his predecessor, the Undead Giant. Now there is a third boss in between him and the Undead Giant, which is the Rom, the spider, and I didn't do a guide for him because I felt he was easy enough to, he just didn't need a guide. So if you guys disagree and would like a guide for the Rom spider, the third boss for this dungeon, let me know. But for now, this guy overall, he is harder than the Undead Giant, has less health, but does more consistent damage. If you continue to hit him, especially in the head, you can visceral attack him, just like I did there, and it does a ton of damage, but beware of his second form. He does not have a third form, but his second form is something you don't want to fuck with it, because he has a double lunge, which I'd say has longer range than his hand stab. So be really careful about that. If you try to get around to his backside this time around in the second form, he will try to jump back and stomp, not just once like before, but multiple times, which can discourage you. He also tends to replace his hand stab with a long-range claw swipe, which I would say is easier to dodge because he's telegraphing his move. It's a much wider move visually, so you can see it coming. Aside from hard-hitting physical attacks, if you are a blood-tinged build and you mainly use guns, the cannon I feel would do probably a really good job against this guy, especially if you used the ash item. I forget what it's called exactly. The one that increases the next shot of your gun. Imagine putting one of those on your cannon. Oh my! As long as it hit, I mean, you don't want it to miss because that takes up a lot of bullets. But I'm sure it would do a ton of damage, and might even stun him to the point where you can get a visceral in right after your shot. If you're gonna take one thing away from this video, then take this. Every one of his moves, or most of them at least, always leave him open for a good second or two, which should allow you to get to his side and then get a couple of hits in with whatever weapon you're using, or whichever you would like to use. You keep to that rule and you will do just fine. Alright, that about wraps up this guide, folks. I hope you learned something. If not, just keep at it and you'll beat him, no problem. If you guys liked the video, please rate it and subscribe on your way out. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and until next time, folks.